the show, Community Connections. I'm your host, Rainbow Sallis, and today we have an amazing show. The show is close to my heart. It's a dear angel that's been blessed in my life, and I can't get any blesser. So I want you to meet my amazing friend, Jill. Jill, do me a favor. I want you to say your last name, even though I can say it, but you sound so wonderful when you say it.
My name's Jill Lashua.
Oh yeah, Lashua. You hear that, Will? I love that. So Jill, we met what 2-3 years ago or something?
Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
and at the time, I'm gonna just say something I normally don't say. At that time in my life, I was being me, an energetic person. My whole life is performance. I'm an athletic guy of performance. I like the art of moving. And before I met her, I had went through a syndrome. And I took a vaccination, and it stole, I got to say stole, my motor skills. And I kept pushing and pushing, trying to stay who I am. And I guess I was who I am, but it was something different and new in my life. And I really didn't know how to deal with it. So I was sitting on the balcony, and no, I was at the restaurant, and I met your beautiful man. That was the first person I met.
You
I
met
met
Bob.
I met Bob, and to find out we were neighbors. So that was awesome. So I think we walked back, and I think that same day I met you in the elevator or coming out of the elevator. And you just, from day A, Bob, she's my sister. From day A, the image and wonderfulness of your spirit has electrified my brain. I think you're an awesome, very special person. And she reminded me of Supergirl. Here's this,
Oh,
she's just so strong and energetic and full of life. It wanted to make me move. And I would watch you and Bob do all your athletic stuff and ride bikes and what is that? Not roller skate. You roller
rollerblade.
blade. Yeah,
That's right. Yeah.
I still haven't tried that. I'll probably kill myself.
Yeah.
But I don't know, just thought of you and the feeling of your person and your spirit just gave me so much. I really did. I just never had that before. And I appreciate you and I thank you.
Well,
So so that's where I was. And then I got to know her and Bob, and we became friends and started socializing. And I started telling her what was going on with me, and to find Holding Below, find out she's a little wizard. She has her own little ways of doing things and finding health. Because I went through doctors, neurologists, specialists, traveled, spent my own money, had insurance. I thought I had great insurance. To everything I had to do was a specialist. I mean, I think I bought a lot of doctors and therapists their own summer homes. And and all they would ever tell me is, I'm so strong. Wow, you're so strong, Rainbow. You're gonna be all right. You're gonna get better. You're so strong, but we're gonna try this. We're gonna try this. Oh, we're gonna refer you here. We're gonna refer you here. So sooner or later, I was just lost. I was confused because I put all my apples into the medical field.
yeah.
I don't know, and I might have been foolish because I thought doctors healed you. I did not know they could not heal you. I did not know they only knew what they read in books, and that's all they know. Their minds not open up to things my impressive friend has taught me over these years. So, Jill, if you don't mind, can you tell us about you and tell us a little of your story?
Yes, I had a similar story where I well, I think everyone or a lot of people, you get bit by insects and you don't know what's in those bites. I got bit by ticks that had Lyme disease. And at the same time, I was receiving a lot of vaccinations. I was working for the Department of Corrections in Massachusetts at one time, and I got an experimental vaccine for Lyme disease. So I kind of recognized just spirit soul
Wow.
when I saw you having
Wow.
some trouble with mobility. And I kind of knew that you were probably suffering, as I did, from autoimmune illness of some kind or other. And I was
But
happy.
I'm sorry, back that up because that part of your story I didn't know. You say you got bit by ticks?
Yes, I had several bullseye rashes in my youth,
Right.
and you just
Yeah.
think, at that
But
time they didn't know anything about Lyme disease or
right.
ticks or what they can carry. But I got very sick from those bites.
What age? What age do you think that was? Huh?
Probably the first bite that I really remember, what I was about 10 or 11 years old.
Wow, it's only like 15 years ago.
Haha.
But
Right.
that's
And then I had been repeatedly bitten, gotten more of those, and they're called bullseye rashes, and those
oh,
are really the telltale sign for Lyme disease
oh,
because they
is it
look like a
really so?
bullseye on your arm or wherever you got
Oh,
bit.
exactly what you're saying, a bullseye.
Right,
So,
right.
so up till been not before you got bitten by a tick, you had nothing like that going on.
No, well, it was slow. I think, my body was able to fight it for a
Yeah.
period of time, and the subsequent insect bites that caused that same response in me, I was able to push through it. I also was an athlete, and so I, wasn't going to let anything slow me down. I just kept pushing through. So I was in my college years, I was really struggling and I had no idea why. And like you, I was sent to all kinds of doctors and specialists, and they told me that I had depression and mental illness, or that I wasn't as strong as, I didn't have the willpower,
That's what they were
or
telling you?
yeah, they basically told me I was mentally
That
ill,
you
and
like there's something wrong with you. Something wrong with
right,
you, but it
something
ain't
wrong
what
with
you
my
think.
head.
Yeah, yeah,
They call
yeah.
it psychosomatic disorder, whereas,
Wow.
whatever you're thinking is creating an illness in you that feels very real, but probably isn't. Wink, wink.
Oh, wow.
And that's the medical, when medicine doesn't know how to diagnose you, they often just diagnose you with mental illness
About
and
that.
put you on psychiatric medication.
Mhm.
And that's the
So,
route that
so as
did.
your journey went through the medical field, did they ever come up with saying you had Lyme disease?
Yeah, so what ended up happening when I did work for the Department of Correction, I got the same experimental vaccines as the inmates did, and there was one for Lyme disease, and that one just kind of knocked me down where I couldn't get up. And so I ended up retiring from that job prematurely.
Right.
And it wasn't until 20 years later that someone told me that I should see a Lyme literate medical doctor. After
So, so I'm
being,
sorry. So
yeah,
during that time, you retired from your job
yeah.
prematurely because of what was going on. What was happening in your life physically during that time?
I was experiencing a lot of chronic fatigue, a lot of dysregulation. I had like tremors. I was unable to sleep. I felt so much brain fog.
Oh,
I was
and that
unable
was
to.
and that was all in your head, right?
Right, right,
Yeah.
and that's where they came up. Well,
So from
your
that, this is
head, not
yeah,
something physical, but something in your
something-
head.
right.
Yeah.
So you're battling these symptoms and trying to move on. Did it bed rest you? Were you able
It
to
tanked
go
me a
out?
lot. I mean, the only thing that I was able to, I quit my job, but I still needed to earn money. And thank God I had a rental property. So, but I did do some side dog walking for all those years,
Oh, okay.
just to earn some extra income so I could afford my treatments a little bit
Yeah.
better. There were a lot of
Yeah.
treatments that I couldn't afford that I really wanted to do.
Mm, mm,
Um,
mm.
and it wasn't until someone came into my life and helped me do those treatments that I started coming out of it. And that was only about 8 years ago, 7 or 8
So
years ago.
from that job, 20 years into it, you finally met someone who could actually lead you to where you should be going.
Right. I met someone who was a pharmacist, but he practiced alternative pharmacy, and he
Oh,
knew about
are we talking
herbs.
holistic?
Right.
Holistic? Yeah, so everything just ain't black and white medical. There's other things
Everything
beyond
prior
what,
to that was medical and psychiatric and
right?
specialists, like just like you, Rainbow,
Mhm.
specialists after specialists who, put me on different drugs, and every drug they put me on made me worse. And
But it,
made me stay in bed even longer than
they
I
are quick to write that prescription, aren't they?
they are.
That's even with me. They tried to give me narcotics. I was like, what am I gonna do with narcotics? I just wanna see,
Shut you up.
yeah, I just want to be able to move. But the only thing they offered me was nope. So that didn't work for me. Then I met
Right.
you. Then I learned a lot about what you do and how you seek healness. And that is why I have you here. Mine is because I love you, you're my friend. But
Uh,
one thing I'm profiling you about because your incredible intelligence of the other way of staying healthy. So go ahead with your, so 20 years later, you're getting into
So
your
20 years
thing
later, I met this pharmacist. I was taking steroids to get through the day and be able to walk the couple dogs that I walked a day.
just to get through
And
the day,
just
just
to
to
get
get
through
through
the
a day.
day, right? And
Right.
I couldn't sleep at night, so I was taking all kinds of sleep medicine at night to go to sleep. I still struggle with that. There's still a lot of things I struggle with, but I have a baseline level of quality in my life now, thank
Awesome.
God, to
Awesome.
alternative
Yeah.
medicine and
Yeah.
what this man introduced to me. So I try to introduce other people to the same type of things. Um, and it was a blessing that day. I couldn't get my medication, but he pulled me aside and he said, I think I can help you. He introduced me to a term that I didn't really know about. It was called biohacking. And
Wait, say it again, huh?
bio hacking, which means
Like a
hacking
computer
your own,
hacking, but
like
hacking through
computer, but
your,
you're doing your own biology on your own
that's
biology. So there are
crazy.
instruments and
Right, right.
frequencies and stuff doctors don't tell you, herbs, and
So he opened up a whole new world for you.
it was, and it healed me, took me pretty far, physically. But mentally, it made the biggest difference for me because I knew there were answers now that I could find for
Are
myself.
you not that crazy woman?
I'm not that crazy woman, and I'm not dependent on medical or the
Right.
system
That's what made
to
us
keep it
crazy.
down. Yeah, exactly. They keep us down.
So tell us some of the things, some of the herbs, some of the what you have found.
So there's a lot of herbs, plant herbs that are really excellent, in terms of eliminating parasites. Most people don't realize that the foods that they eat contain parasites and they're loaded with them. So the
Yes.
first thing this gentleman helped me do was eradicate the parasites that were in my body. And he helped me do that through something called pulse electromagnetic field therapy. It's abbreviated PEMF.
Yeah.
And basically, that's the frequency from the earth that keeps us alive. It keeps all our cells charged and healthy.
Oh, okay.
We don't get enough of that. Our cells start losing it. Plus, where we have all the toxins and stuff we're exposed to, we need to recharge ourselves. So, either by getting out, and they call it grounding, putting your feet
Yes.
on the ground,
Yeah.
you get the earth's lean against a tree. That's the earth's magnetic
That's beautiful,
PEMF.
man.
But
Yeah.
they also make machines that do it.
Oh, they really do?
Yes. So
And
they make
what are they like huge? Is something you lay in? Something
Well,
you
originally the first one that I went used that really made a huge difference for me was large equipment called pulse centers.
what do it actually you get what sensories to your senses? I mean, what's the feeling? What
Well, it's loaded with coils, and you just feel like a pulsing
oh
of
okay.
of the field. And
Getting
there's
that,
different, and
yes.
what it is, it's a wave, just like the
Oh,
Earth's magnetic field has a certain wave, and so it replicates that wave, charging your tissues, which can receive this wave of frequency, and then it assists your body in regenerating your cells so that your cells can heal you.
oh wow, that is such believable, beautiful talk.
Yeah,
Because
if your cells are
we are
losing
living cells, and yeah,
Right. And if your cells are losing voltage, which
and
happens when we age naturally, and especially when we're sick, we have no way to make up for that. And we're constantly struggling to keep at the same level of function that we used to be. And that's why sometimes people age prematurely and become ill, and they lose more voltage with every illness that
yes, yes.
builds
I
up.
love
Yeah.
this. This is so interesting. I'm so honored that you're telling us about the other side
Well,
of
that
health.
was one of the therapies, and he
Yes.
introduced me to
And
others.
I want to know more. Tell me more. Tell my viewers
Well,
more.
the other big therapy that he taught me was called ozone therapy. And you hear all these negative things about ozone, but
Oh yeah.
really, ozone is oxygen with an extra molecule of oxygen. So it's O3 instead of O2,
You are
which
so
means
good.
O2. And so that extra molecule
Yeah.
of oxygen becomes a donor for cells that are struggling and they don't have enough oxygen. So you're upping your ability to be able to heal yourself when you contribute extra molecules of oxygen that they call that redox. And it means something's donating to another cluster of cells that is missing that. And
It's
now
like,
you're getting better,
yeah,
you're healing.
it's like your reserve.
Yeah, it's creating reserve for you
Right.
that where
Yeah.
you had a deficit before.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, I
Yeah.
like that, honey. What
Yeah.
about supplements? Do you get into things like that or?
I do get into supplement. I had gotten into supplements, but to be honest, for me,
Mhm.
the supplement industry has changed drastically. There's a lot of impure ingredients out there that peddlers are pushing and supplement companies, and they're almost have become
Their own pharmaceutical,
they're
their
all,
own
yeah, it's like
pharmaceutical for
supplement
everything.
pharmaceutical.
Everything's just a dollar bill. They're
Right.
just
And if
dollars.
you look on the labels of your supplements, you'll see inactive ingredients, and there's all this stuff in there. And you look up what those things are, those are not good for you, just like the extra ingredients they put in our pills that are not good for us.
Yeah.
So I prefer herbs now, herbal tinctures, just getting an organic tea
I
or
like your
herb
word.
breath,
Say herb what? Say it again.
herbal tinctures.
Herb. Yeah, I like that.
Tinctures. And what those are, they're concentrated herbs that have been boiled down. So they're like medicine with no additives.
Oh, wonderful. You see why I like her, Will? She's a wonderful. But okay, so we got into the wave. Then we got into our
Ozone.
ozone. And then we got into our teas. And what else? What else is good for people?
Well, it's
Minus
staying
sitting,
physically
minus
active
sitting
is
there and listening
really
to a doctor.
staying physically active and your nutrition is super important. I think those are the other two biggies is I wasn't at the time eating organic stuff that I knew was pure and clean, and everything that we eat now is either genetically modified and or sprayed with they call it glyphosate.
Okay.
Um, and glyphosate is a poison on all our food crops. And now they're injecting, our beef
Yeah.
with,
We're
with
intaking it into
hormones
our,
and things.
yeah.
Yeah, one way or another, you're going to get it. So the idea is just to stay as clean as possible. So over the last 8 years, it was much easier to stay clean than it is now because they're making laws that make it impossible, harder and harder, and they're making it harder for farmers to sell clean food.
Right, yeah.
They're mandating that their cattle be injected with things that they never used to be injected with. Our parents didn't eat that kind of food. It's not the same food. So
I like milk. What do you think about milk?
I love milk, but I like raw milk.
You like what?
Raw milk that has not been pasteurized and homogenized.
Yes.
And that's how farmers used to eat it. And it had all the nutrients you needed in it.
Yeah, right.
And it has all these factors for your gut, for your stomach that helps your gut stay healthy. When we boil off those living factors of our milk, colostrum, and destroy that, we open our digestive system up to being less healthy, and it can ultimately make us sick because
where do people find raw milk?
It's super hard, but there's a website. I'm trying to remember the name. I can't remember where you can. It's like a milk locator.
Yeah.
Website, and it will tell you farms near you, and you can inquire directly to the farms near you to find out how they're treating their cattle and milk and eggs and that type of thing, so that you can
that's
get
awesome. So you were able to find that in Florida?
I'm able. I found.
Tell everybody where you are right now. We didn't even just tell people where you are.
I'm in Reddington Shores, Florida.
Oh yeah, and she puts the beauty in Florida.
And then I did source a farm, an Amish farm that produces milk the way I like it to be, and eggs the way I like, and the eggs
right there in Florida.
Right.
That's awesome, honey.
Yeah, and I also have one at my other place in Massachusetts. So.
And you and my beautiful brother-in-law also live in
Massachusetts.
And there is that like you got a lot of wilderness and paths and beautifulness there, right?
A lot of beautiful nature and trails, and Yes, and that's so healthy too, to just get out there in the woods and
And then you come to
yeah.
Florida and get the sun rays for the instead of the cold and snow.
Yeah, cold was hard for me and my autoimmune disease, as it is for many people.
Right. Yeah,
It
I'm kind
tends
of
to slow
I'm
you
kind
down.
of figuring it out here as I'm in Western Michigan doing my thing. I my movement, I was talking to Will earlier, my movement is slow so bad. I don't know if it's cold or I don't know. It's just some
Probably a combination because you're not getting that light that you used to walk over to the restaurant every day and just going over there, you get light in your
always.
eyes, that
Yeah.
feeds your photoreceptors in your eyes, which is delivers it to your optic nerve in your eyes to your brain, and your brain then has hormones that affect your physiology, right?
You are so delightful. I mean,
And then,
it's easy to understand you. It's very easy to
well,
understand you.
I'm not a doctor,
No,
so
but
like I
I'm
have to
saying just the
convert it into
natural,
my
yeah,
language.
it's just
Yeah.
the natural of how we are made and built and what we should actually take and not take. Because you don't hear that. You don't go sit in the doctor's office and hear what you're saying. And it's
Yeah.
making really good sense. So during your treatments, hon, what a lot has changed for the best for you, right?
Yeah, it has gotten better, but I'm still, after when you have a chronic disease for as long as I have had it, I don't know many personally, anyone I know who's had a disease like Lyme disease for 40 years, they're either dead that I knew or they're in the bed.
Right.
So I consider myself to be doing very well in
God
comparison
bless you.
to
Yes.
others.
You look great. You still look like that Supergirl to me. You know,
Thanks.
what
I
else?
still
What else? I like that wave thing you were talking about. Tell us about some other creative ways to get your
Well,
body
the other
back.
thing that I did as a major treatment was I did something called Lyme laser, which isn't exactly what they used to offer, but it's using laser therapy, which is light. It's red light therapy. And
Oh, a real laser.
it is a real laser. They have different classes
Oh,
of
okay.
lasers.
Yes,
So they
yes.
have some that you can use at home without training. They have some that you can use at home with training, and then they have some that they only use in a doctor's office. That's the
Right.
difference.
Is that
There's class 1, 2, and 3
yeah, is
lasers.
that something you wrap around you, something you strap on you,
Well, no,
something
the
you lay
kind
on?
that you wrap around is not a laser, but it is red light therapy. It is effective. It just takes a little bit longer, and it delivers a different wavelength.
Okay.
So your cells in your body like different wavelengths. They like
Yes.
the laser wavelength, which is in the infrared category, and they like the red light, which is more like in a LED kind of lower
Oh,
category.
that's something.
And they feed different
Needs. Yeah.
structures
Right.
in your cells.
That's great. That's great. So where you see the path medical going, do you see it changing? Do you see them going over a little more holistic, or they just sticking to their guns and what they know in their books is the only thing they can
Um,
share with us?
yeah. Unfortunately, I see it getting harder and harder to receive alternative care, genuine alternative care, natural alternative care, because people get used to the medical model and they want a quick fix
Yes.
and they want to just take a pill. And people needing money are more than happy to market
To
that
do,
for
oh
you.
yeah, and there's a greed is a big part of not
It
really
is.
taking good care of people, but what they can put in their pockets. I'm sorry,
Right.
well,
So
there's something in that
alternative
too.
medicine has started to separate from natural medicine. It used to be alternative was natural medicine, but now there's a division between, taking supplements with a lot of crap in it, from taking an herbal tincture that is purely an herb. And
Oh,
we have lost the ability to recognize herbs and use herbs because 50 years ago, there were tons of doctors who knew how to use herbs, but now they are disqualified, being more and more disqualified from practicing medicine, that they're harder to get. And even if you are able to find those doctors, you have to pay out of pocket because big pharma is not going to pay
not
those
going to,
doctors
yes,
anymore. And
exactly.
because they compete against big pharma, they want to put them out of business.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Really appreciate your insight and your knowledge. I'm quite sure a lot of our viewers will get that too. Don't you write articles or something?
No, I do. I used to do a lot of public posts on social media, but I've been flagged for what I post as going against current culture and the directives
Welcome
of
to
the
Free
state.
Speech TV,
Yeah,
honey. That's what we
right. So it's dangerous for me to post this kind of stuff now. I'm afraid I'll be targeted.
Well, you know one thing, I'm happy to have you here. Our viewers are happy to have you here. I've been, like I said, a lot of networks have offered me all kinds of things, but I would never leave this one because it's free speech. You have the right to speak and say what's on your mind. And I enjoyed everything you have shared and told with our viewers. And I want to thank you for being on the show. I love you. I love Daz. I miss you. And
We
we'll
miss
see
you too,
and
Rainbow.
we will see each other soon. And it's been a blessing for me to see you and to hear your words again.
We will
So,
catch up too. I wish you the best and may your health continue to stabilize and get better over time and make as
oh
you learn.
yes,
It's the process.
and that's the
Yeah.
process of learning. And
Yeah.
I'm glad I have someone who has an edge on me because you're a great teacher. I love you, my friend.
God
Until
bless
next
you.
time, we'll see each other soon.
Okay. Bye.
I'm Rainbow Sallis, the host. This has been Community Connections. You guys have a great day.